Huh. See how this goes today. It's all we can do. Okay, Twitch is up. It's up. Sound is up. All right. Say all right. Hey, everything appears to be working. Say appears. We have the appearance of it working. Just loads in. There it goes. How about damn? Okay, we should have logged in into our ship, but we didn't, so obviously, shit. Alright, well, life is tough. Star Citizen, things don't work. What a shame. We should have logged into our Caterpillar. That's where we logged out. Obviously, it did not work. Such is life in the big cities. So that kind of changes what I'm going to do here. I was just going to take the Caterpillar out and do some trading, but now I will have to reclaim it. Oh, look at everybody posing. Yeah, they're waiting for orders. Obviously not a good server. They say we should have logged back in the cat. Logged out in it. Saved to it. The whole works. Obviously, yeah, things are not really great here. So we're probably not going to be playing long. I'm really not fighting bad server shit. Some people just keep trying and trying. I just get too frustrated with it. There's other games to play. When you see you didn't log in where you're supposed to, and you see all the mannequins standing around, this game will be unknown and it will not spawn, I am sure. See, it's only giving me the option to claim. Alright, I'm not going to pay to expedite it. It'll still take too damn long. I'm not going to wait on it. I'm sure it'll still be a 15-minute, 7-minute. Mess with it. Let's not in the mood to go mining. So let's just grab the little Titan. Maybe we'll do a oh, even got to claim it. Son of a gun. Oh, it's an Olisar. Why would it be an Olisar? Boy, things are really screwed up here today. I do not keep ship stored at Olisar at all. So I have no idea what its problem is. Just so many things are not fixed. I don't feel like going bounty hunter into Gladius. So we'll just give it a minute and we'll just go do a light delivery mission somewhere. But yeah, I had planned to come in. I was going to do a cargo run for the hell of it, but I'm not going to wait to expedite it, get the ship back and running. I suppose I could take the Eychimo out and do a real light cargo run, but yeah. We'll just run a delivery mission and call it quits. There's going to be nobody on I play with this time of day, so most NPCs are starting to move. Most of them are just loitering around. They can't help themselves. Like I say, it's Star Citizen. You can't really expect things to work. Like I say, we should have came in the cat. But we'll do it. Next time I log in, maybe I'll try it again. Like I say, I don't get excited about playing a mess. There is fun to be had here, but I'm not a server chaser. Either works or it don't work. If it don't work, I got other things to do. On 3. What can you say? Yeah, one thing about Star Citizen, they got pretties down pat, but they don't have functionality down. I'd rather have the functionality down and work on pretties later, but it's not Chris Roberts' way. All he worries about is, oh, does it look pretty as it crashes? Does it look pretty as it doesn't work? Just not my way of doing things. Yeah. Who knows? Start up.
Acknowledged.
Mobile glass.
Open mobile glass.
Yeah, nothing here. This is all new babbage. Doesn't really pay much. I don't really care. It's not about the money. CRL4. We're on 1. Close mobile glass.
Closing mobile glass.
Take off.
Ascending. Retracting modules. Handing you the con.
Range.
Collecting data.
Jump.
Jumping.
Well, let's see how it runs. Frame rates don't seem too god awful. It won't take us too long to do this. Hopefully. Don't 30K. Guarantee we won't. And this definitely isn't a very good money maker. I mean, 4,000 credits. It's 4,000 credits. And you can stack delivery missions if you want to. You can do You can do as many of them as you can throw in your ship. You can throw quite a few of them here in this Titan. Trouble is, you go to pick up boxes even in the same general area, the game's liable to crash on you before you pick them all up. And as soon as it's 30 Ks, you lose everything, so it's really not time well spent. Until they can get things stable, or at least relatively stable. I just don't see much use in trying to stack delivery missions. More times than not, you're going to wind up with nothing and have 30, 40 minutes into the game. Where I can at least do one, at least make a little bit of something. And collecting credits at this time really is not that big a deal. Not really a whole lot you can do with them yet. I mean, you can buy ships in game, but you already own a prospector, and that's pretty much the only ship in game that's worth having. If you're looking at profits. I mean, yeah, you can have a Caterpillar too, and yes, you can buy cargo vessels, but cargo vessels can burn you really quick. Once again, it's a matter, not that you can't do it, it's a matter of the stability issues. The game is liable to crash or 30K on you at any time, which will wipe out, most of the times it will wipe out your credits. Because it seems like it only 30Ks after you make a cargo pickup. And then it'll 30K after you pick up, so everything you bought, the credits you use is all gone when you log back in. So it's problematic. Now don't get me wrong, if you're lucky you can make 4, 5, 6, 10 cargo runs before it kills you. But sooner or later it's going to catch you and then you're going to be pissed off about it. And seriously, with the lack of professions in the game, does it really matter what ships you have? Because that's the only reason. I mean, you make enough credits to update your ships how you want them, get the gear on them, weapon upgrade, shields, stuff like that, coolers, power plants. But once you've done that, the credits really don't do you a whole lot of good unless you just like to keep buying things that you're going to lose anyway the next server wipe. So I don't get too excited about making credits. Just don't get excited about it. Although it's fun to do if everything's working. But here for this last patch, since 3.9 goes out, it's really not been very stable. So I don't get too excited about it. Range.
Collecting data.
Jump.
Jumping.
Yeah, as far as progress, state of Star Citizen, it's fleeting. You can progress your tune, but it's going to get wiped again. So really, it's not that big a deal that you do progress, because sooner or later you're going to be back at square one anyway. Nothing you earn now is going to last till this game is released. And I guess if you have nothing else you want to play, it's okay. I just have a lot of games I like to play that work really well, and I don't have to fight them to play them. Star Citizen can be a pretty big battle to keep running and to keep making any type of progress. Oh, goodness. Permission to land.
Approach protocols engaged.
Well, you approach them and protocol them. Close comms.
Please proceed to
Comlink
site
close.
Close mobile glass.
Closing mobilglass.
Oh, I guess we could fly through the loop here. Yeah. Landing mode.
The landing gear is down.
But don't get me
And
wrong, when things are
locked.
working, occasionally you can log in and everything works really well, it can be quite fun. I mean, most stuff's pretty basic, even FPS. But even the FPS stuff, it's fun. I enjoy it. I mean, don't think you're going to get any great experience like you get in some of the FPS games in the world. You're not going to get that in Star Citizen. Air combat, space combat's not great. It's not god awful. It's not absolutely terrible, but it's not as good as it used to be. They keep changing things. Sometimes they get things right. Most of the times they make it worse. We got new flight models, thruster models coming out here
Landing complete.
in a few weeks. We'll see how it goes. Maybe an improvement, may not be. I don't really think it's going to affect me, just because the way I dogfight. I'm not a jouster. I'm not a top speed guy. I don't throttle up when I dogfight. I try to keep maneuverability over speed. I like to be able to keep my nose on my target, and I can't do that when I'm going so fast I can't turn. The people who fly that way are probably going to have problems with a new flight model. I just really don't think I will notice it, just because the way I fly. Well, I just fucked up. No, I didn't. I'm picking the delivery box up. Duh, I was thinking I forgot to get it out of the back of the ship, but I don't even have it yet. So yeah, I don't really think it's going to affect me. I think a lot of people are really going to be complaining, but I don't think, as far as I go, it's going to make any difference. Boy, look at these server NPCs everywhere. They're just standing around. So I don't think I'm going to be affected by it. At least not to much extent. Yeah, see, this is not good that these are all. It tells you the servers are not really good. Do I remember where admin is here? No, I don't. Upstairs, obviously. Oh, see, they all just took off running. Now, I wonder if they have them pause until somebody actually is on the station. Notice now all of a sudden they all took off? They were all just standing there. Maybe nobody was out here and they have something in the coding that if there's nobody in the area, the NPCs just sit there. It's not, I don't know that it's true or not true, but I noticed that all of a sudden they just took off moving. Now see these, oh it sure is. So it's possible that they have something in the coding that if you have an empty station, they just quit taking up server room. Or at least they just stand stationary. Once somebody's at the station, maybe they become active. Because looks like the way it's going today, that's exactly what happened. They were all standing around in one place. And after I was down here maybe a minute, all of a sudden they started moving. So it could be. No, these guys are still standing here. I don't know. Some of them took off. Though. The ones that were standing right here took off. So it worked on some of them. I don't know. Who knows? I don't remember what pad I was on. See, it says pad, but it does not tell me what pad. So, what do you think? We'll try 3. We ought to adjust that so whenever you land a ship, you go to check what pad you're on, it should tell you instead of having to chase it. God, we got a lot of pads here. Would be really nice if every time we went to check where our ship was, either that or they can number the pad so when we get off the pads we know. Now see, I just got lucky. I made a good guess. That's all it was. It's just a good guess. But see, these pads ought to have numbers on them at least. 1, Or they need to fix the kiosk so they always tell us where the ship is when we queue it up. Whoops, this is not going to work. I can't go in that way. This is an Avenger, and you cannot take a box up the ladder. Some ships you can, but this is not one of them. You gotta load it from the back. So you notice it might been a while since I've actually done a delivery. Yeah, this ship you cannot go up the ladder with a delivery box. Can't do it. But for the most part, the server actually seems to be running all right. Did I leave this ship running? I guess I did, didn't I? All right. Take off.
Ascending. Retracting modules. Handing you the con.
Yeah, the con is mine.
Thank you. And please visit again.
Okay, whoa. Let's not hit nothing. Star map.
Activating now.
Solar panel work. Let's see what the name are. Yes, it was. Yeah, we'll just go here and say the hell with it. Close star map.
Affirmative.
I forget what exactly station it was. Range. Range.
Collecting data.
Jump. Change
Jumping.
view.
Roger that.
And normally I upgrade the guns on this. I have them in my inventory. I just don't have them on. Wing guns are upgraded, so it's got ballistics on the wings, besides the long swords. Change view.
Roger that.
But normally, if I go out bounty hunting and stuff and look for combat in this ship, I upgrade it to fixed. Size 4 to size 3s. Right now it's got size 3 and size 2s on it. But I do upgrade it. For more firepower, I've gotten pretty good with fixed weapons. They do definitely take more skill, and they definitely have more DPS than gimbal weapons, but gimbal weapons do make dogfighting much easier. Even if it does, sometimes, depending on the pilot, you'll kill quicker with gimbals than you will with fixed, because if you can't keep on your target, if you're not good at chasing a pip, you're actually going to do less DPS on the target, so you might as well use gimbals. It all depends how much you want to practice. People complain that if you can't do fixed, and I find I do a whole lot better using fixed as long as I keep my practice up. And every ship is different when you're using fixed on it. I mean, this ship is it's pretty nimble for what it is. So it's not real hard to keep on the pip. The less nimble the ship is, the harder it is to track that pip, of course. So it's really situational whether you use fixed or gimbals. But if you're looking just for not having you're looking for set and forget, gimbals are the way to go, make no mistake about it. Make no mistake. And that may change. We're supposed to have new upgrades for fixed weapons. We'll see how that works out. Well, at least how fixed weapons work. How the pips work. So we'll see. Like I say, not all changes they make are for the better. Sometimes they really screw things up. I think we'll probably have a little different way we fly in atmosphere. I think we'll probably be back to VTOL mode again. It just might be a little different. I actually liked it last time. I didn't have a problem with it. I know people screamed and hollered, but it actually made you pay attention to your ship, how it flew at slow speeds and landing. And it made a difference in mining too, but I really didn't have a problem with it. It actually made it more interesting as far as I was concerned. I mean, I'm not one of those people who worry about how fast I land. So I didn't mind the extra time it took to, you want to say, master the VTOL. I wasn't in a big hurry that I just had to get on the ground in 5 seconds. Some people want to come flying in, and yeah, they never took the time to learn how to use it, so they didn't like it. But you had to have a little bit of patience. But I think landing, even in a jet, you got to have patience. You can't just force the damn thing down on the ground thinking you can stop on a dime. So I don't know. I play flight sims, so a little more complicated didn't bother me. And you have people who really want arcade flying, and that's fine. I can live with either. Although I do find that if we have to be tall, I find that I don't mind learning how. Some people don't want to learn. They just want to be able to stick it in a box. Different strokes, different folks. One thing about a game, MMO, it cannot please everybody. Range.
Collecting data.
I mean, just like the FPS, it's really, when you consider other games, FPS games, yeah, it's pretty simple mode here, but jump.
Jumping.
But I don't care if it's simple. You still gotta shoot. Still gotta hide behind cover. So I'm okay with it being simple as long as there's not a lot of desync, you got decent frame rates. I can live with simple. Range.
Collecting data.
But when you shoot at a target, the bullets it becomes a bullet sponge. It desyncs. The desync is so bad. Or the frame rates are lagging. Everything's lag, server lag. Now that I don't have, it just ruins the whole game. Jump.
Jumping.
But sometimes I go do an FPS mission, I have a really good time. Other times I go, it's just miserable. But it's pretty much how the game runs. Like I say, FPS here is, combat is very simple. Pretty much it's really just point and shoot. But even point and shoot can be fun. If it works. That's the key. Some of the missions are so buggy that even though you can't even do them, you can't complete them, And sometimes you go in, you do them, and they're perfect. Range.
Collecting data.
I say it's Star Citizens. They have a lot of stability issues, I guess you'd call it. Jump.
Jumping.
And if you happen to log in, everything works really well. That does happen. It becomes a whole lot of fun to play Star Citizen. But just like right off the bat, I logged in. I should have been in my Caterpillar. That's where I logged out at. As you saw that, we were not in the Caterpillar. We were back on a R&R station. That meant the Caterpillar was lost in space. That means I had to claim it on insurance, which means I couldn't use it until it gets reclaimed, which, by now it's probably back up and running, but now I no longer feel like using it. So what I plan to do, they already run my gameplay, which is okay. I mean, I can live with it. But they also want me to recommend people play this game or buy into it, and that I can't do. I think, most people are not going to play the best that Star Citizen is. I mean, I've been a member here, 3-4 years, been playing it, and there's times that I just can't stand anymore because it is such a mess. And I have to give it a break. I do want it to be successful, but they haven't proven to me that they have a chance of that happening. And I'm the first one to admit their artwork is pretty. What difference does it make if you can't enjoy it? I'd rather have, like I said, I'd rather have function, not pretties. Get the functions down, then we can go for the pretties. And I do like pretties, don't get me wrong. They're worried about their high fidelity look, but what good's it do if you can't use it?
Did you see the new Star Wars game?
The landing gear is
I've
down.
looked at a couple things. Like I
Locked.
say, it'll be a while before we get to see that, but it'll be interesting. I like the joysticks. I've got a little funny here. I have not changed the curves on it, so I don't know what to do.
It's coming in October.
Yeah, I was wondering how in the hell they must have been working on it for a while. I mean, long before they ever announced it. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be a player. I miss the old LucasArts X-Wing game, Star Wars, TIE Fighter, and all that stuff. Change view.
Roger that.
That's what I thought. Well, not really on anything, but moved a little bit, I guess. Change view.
Roger that.
Engines off.
Engines are powered down.
Exit seat.
Affirmative.
But yeah, I will be, I'm sure that's something I will, I'll wait till it releases.
I wonder if it will play well with dual sticks.
I don't know. A lot of games don't. They're just not, sometimes you got to go HOTAS, and I do no longer have a HOTAS system. I have dual sticks. But I would, wow, that's dark. I would actually buy a HOTAS to go with one of my sticks, the control, if I had to. Wouldn't really like it, but I would. I used to have one years and years ago. But I got used to using dual sticks for this game, actually. Didn't really use them before. And but I will go back if I'll pick one up. I mean, nowadays you don't have to buy the whole set. You can just buy the throttle. You don't need to buy the package. And I use mismatched sticks anyway. I mean, I had this Logitech 3D Pro for God knows how long, and I went to dual sticks, so I bought a Thrustmaster 1600M, I guess it is, just so I could use it as left hand.
I really like the 5v5 arena aspect of the game.
Yeah, like I say, it may be, like I say, it's, it'll be real interesting. Okay, we done did a delivery mission. See, that wasn't too bad for a short run. It's a bit dark out here. Bit dark. Let's see here. Change view.
Roger that.
Still rocking the RX 5700 XT?
Yes. I really like this video card, make no mistake about it. Well, you know, it's basically, you know, it's a 2070 Super without RTX is what it boils down to. Change view.
Roger that.
And I don't use RTX. I have games that have it, and I won't use it. I play at 1440p.
It's an amazing card for the price.
Yeah, and I don't like RTX because I got to kill my frame rates to use it, and to me it's just not worth that. I mean, I've gone all this trouble to create a system that has good frame rates at 1440p, and then I'm going to turn RTX on and there it goes bye-bye. So that's why I don't like RTX. Now don't get me wrong, soon, somewhere in the future, I'm sure RTX will not be such a, you know, a graphics card hog. Change view.
Roger that.
But right now it's not. Change view.
Roger that.
And so I'm perfectly happy not to have it. And like I say, I saved myself $150 by going AMD instead of NVIDIA. And
Did they put farms in the game now?
this is a farm type thing. It's a agricultural place that you can buy agricultural food stuff, commodities, but it's not farm per se where player run farm. Does that make sense? This is just a trading post. I forget the name of this particular one, but they do sell food goods, food commodities that you could buy and take to other places to sell. And they do buy some commodities, you know, to go with, you know, growing food. So, yeah. So this is, yeah, it's basically a farm, but it's not a player farm. Nothing a player can do. Which supposedly we will be able to do in the future. We'll be able to put in these habitat things. Somewhere in the future, 10 years, who knows. But we will be able to actually make foodstuffs and things. But this is just all NPC stuff here. And it is kind of interesting to check out. But yeah, this is all NPC. And yeah, I could go in here and I could buy foodstuffs and deliver them somewhere or try to figure out where to sell them. But this little Avenger Titan is not going to make a lot of money. Any type of cargo trading. It's not really, it is a light, they consider it a light cargo, but basically it's a delivery courier vessel. It's not really, at 8 SCU, you're not going to be able to make enough profit on anything to make it really, not to make it a great credit, you know, credit maker, except maybe illegal goods. I guess you might make a little more running illegal drugs, but then you're fighting crime stats and shit. It makes a real good delivery ship. It makes a real good.
What is the biggest ship that you can buy in game?
Right now, well, you can't buy them all the time, but they have big battleships that are actually available now, and not just concept. I think the biggest concept ship for right now, biggest ship in game right now for cargo trading would be the Caterpillar. and almost as big as a Carrack. They'll do almost as much. Now there are bigger ships coming that will do more cargo trading than they will, but they're just still concepts. They're working on the Hercules, several of the Hull series. Ships are bigger than the Caterpillar or will carry more. But as far as cargo right now, I do believe the Caterpillar is still king. Although that'll probably change by the end of the year. They might actually get the Hercules released. And I think the Hercules, one of the models of Hercules.
Can you buy them with in-game currency?
You can buy a Caterpillar with in-game currency, yes. So yes. Yeah. Yes, you can. Take off.
Ascending. Retracting modules.
Engines
Handing you the con.
Engines on.
Engines are powered down. Engines online.
Take off.
Ascending. Retracting modules. Handing you the con.
Somebody's coming in. Engines on.
Engines online.
Now see, they're probably actually trading there. They're probably actually coming here to buy trade goods. It's actually another Avenger, see that? Same ship I'm in.
And you get to keep it forever just like the Aurora and the Mustang?
No, not at this time. There will be more server wipes, so you're going to lose anything you buy in-game right now. Eventually, yes. That once you buy it in-game with in-game credits, you'll have it forever. Does that make sense? But right now, there are going to be server wipes. That looks like somebody's Avenger who's got the Invictus paint kit on it. It's not a Renegade, it's a regular type. Just has the paint kit on it. So yeah, I mean, you can buy them now and they'll stay until the next server wipe, but they could wipe servers.
It's very annoying that you lose all your progress.
Yes, it's not a finished game, so you know what I mean? Yeah, you can lose progress at any time. Take off.
Ascending.
And that's
Retracting
a shame,
modules. Handing you the con.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the way it is. As soon as they server wipe, everything you've earned is gone. And you never know when they're going to do it. I mean, they could not do it for 3 months, and they might do it on the next patch. So you don't know. Star map.
Activating now.
You just don't know.
When are they going to keep it stable?
It won't be until beta. And that's probably 5-10 years away. I mean, they claim, oh, we're so close, but they're not. And it will not be stable where you will not get wiped every time until beta. And they're a long way from beta. Close star map.
Affirmative.
I mean, they've actually got to get this
5
game.
to 10 holy smokes.
Yeah, it's going to be 5-10 years. I mean, this game, there's just not enough in the game right now to cruise control. There's just not enough in the game right now to call it, to be able to call it a beta. Why am I nosing that? So yeah, it'll be a while. Anybody that tells you it's soon, they're lying to you. And Chris Roberts will lie to you, but it's not soon. This game, to be in any type of near finished state, has a lot more stuff it needs. First of all, there's only one star system. You only have 50 people a server. It's not the way the game designed. It's not designed to have 50 people a server. It's designed to have thousands. Professions. The only thing that's in the game right now that works, and it only works, it's not really working.
This game is taking too long.
Yes, because they keep feature creeping it. Instead of just fixing and doing what they started, they keep adding shit to it, and it just stretches it out. And then they have to go over and redo. Every ship in this game right now has to be reworked. This Avenger Titan right here is not going to be released this way when the game gets released. See, they made all these ships and took all this time making them, and now they got to go back and remake them.
Maybe they will release everything after SQ4 too?
You know what? I have no idea if it'll be released. Yeah. Like I say, I don't even see Squadron 42, the first mission of it, being released for another year. I mean, Chris Roberts keeps lying about it and saying it's in polish, but you know what? He's been saying that for 5 years now. It hasn't been released. So like I say, yeah, this game takes a lot of patience as far as it ever getting done. And like I say, it can be a lot of fun, but it can also be a lot of frustration. Cruise control. Range.
Affirmative. Collecting data.
Jump.
Jumping.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
He is a perfectionist. It's good and bad in the same time.
Yeah, he's got no
Recovering.
business. His trouble is he's got no business running the show, because that is exactly. He just keeps. He doesn't know when to finish what he starts.
We just have been waiting for this game for so long.
Yes, and we're gonna wait at least double what we have right now. Like I said, I don't even see it going to beta, much less release for another 5 years. It's just that unfinished, you know. I mean, one profession in the game, for God's sakes. Mining, and mining is not even finished. And that's the only profession. Now, yes, they have cargo, or they have trading, but so what? It's such a backwards tier. Most, you know what? There's nothing to it. You know what I mean? Like I say, they have nothing finished.
I love
Nothing.
this game, but I feel I am rotting already. Smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes.
And you're absolutely right. I feel the same way. I want this game to be done. I want it. I have high hopes for it. But they just keep disappointing me because they just won't finish anything. You know, or they won't work on what needs to be finished. Chris Roberts doesn't care about this game. All he cares about is being a director in a movie. And that's why they're working on Squadron 42. They can make all their excuses. Oh, they're hoping it supports the game. No, they're not. He just likes working on movie shit. It's been his problem for the last 20 years. He fucked up Freelancer because he was more worried about that goddamn bad movie he made than he was about making that game. You know? And he's doing the same thing to Star Citizen. People have not paid $300 million to make.
Maybe they have a really big surprise for us.
I don't think so. I just think it's, yeah. I just don't trust him no more. You know what I mean? I just don't trust the man. I just think he's full of shit and he's just doing what he wants to do and he really doesn't care. Range.
Collecting data.
And I don't even have a problem with that. What I have a problem with, why keep lying to us? And that's what he does. Every year he lies. You know, like I say, Squadron 42 was supposed to be out, 5 years ago now? They claimed it was finished, you know? And he claimed it again every year. He's claiming the same thing. Well, it's not getting released this year. That's already a given. Jump.
He does not seem like a bad guy.
No, I don't think he is. He's like a kid in a candy store. He just, like I say, he just can't finish things. He doesn't have the discipline to finish what he starts. But he doesn't seem like a bad guy. I just think he just sees toys and he just got to have them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he should have somebody on his team that can tell him, hey, we got to finish this shit. We actually got to do something here. But see, the people are still sending him money, and as long as they send him money, the reality is he doesn't care as long as he keeps getting money. See, I just think the game needs a project manager.
He is really trying to achieve his dream.
Yeah, I don't know. No, he's not, because if he was, this would have been a finished game. He keeps expanding the scope of his dream. You see what I'm saying? Once again, he does not finish what he starts. This game is nothing like what was started. You see what I'm saying? He keeps adding shit, and which delays, causes him to go back and start all over again. If he was trying to realize his dream, he would have finished the game, then done like other games like Elite Dangerous, say, and kept adding shit. I mean, here it is in a few months, Elite Dangerous is going to do what Star Citizen does. They're going to have ground stuff. You're going to be able to walk around. Well, they didn't start that way. They started with their game, and they keep adding to it. Well, see, and that's what Chris Roberts should have done. This should be a finished game that, you know, but, like I say, no, he's not trying to create his dream. I don't know what he's trying to do. But like I say, he had his dream, and that's what he sold, but yet now it's turned into his dream doesn't even begin to resemble what it was when we started this project. He doesn't want to finish anything. And maybe he's afraid if he finishes something, his money will dry up. I guess.
Why do you
possible.
play it so much?
Like I say, it can be a lot of fun. And it's really fun when you're playing with other people. Make no mistake about it, when you're in here with friends and you're doing things, it can be a lot of fun. Even if it's frustrating, it can be fun. So, like I say, I really want to succeed. I just don't have much faith in them anymore. But it's going to be in my lifetime. Permission to land.
Approach protocols engaged.
Close mobile glass.
Please proceed to site
Closing
landing bay.
mobiglass.
See, the thing about it is, right now, this game, even in the sorry that so many things are not finished, if it all worked, you know how much fun it would be? You know? I mean, you never know what's going to work, what's not going to work. You don't know if the server...
Yet I just have an old PC and my friends do not like the game.
Yeah, like I say, but they don't like it because they can't enjoy themselves. I mean, it's not that the gameplay's bad. You know what I mean? If it works, it's that it doesn't. You can never. It just gets frustrating having to try to do something and it fails. Not because you can't do it or you can't figure it out. It's because the game is so unstable. You know, it just doesn't work very well yet. Landing mode. And sooner or
landing
later,
gear is down.
I'm hoping that, you know what, they'll
Locked.
figure out what they can't do. You know? But they never address issues that don't work. And that's part of their problem. I mean, it seems like they pretty much got landing fixed where you can refuel when you land most of the time now. You know, that's been a problem for almost a year. Now, how hard is it to make it be able so you can refuel your ships? You know what I mean? But it hasn't been working. Now, it works pretty good now, but it doesn't work all the time still. But how hard can that be to fix something like that? But see, they're not interested in fixing anything. They want to play with something else.
Have a pleasant stay.
Mobile glass. See, we'll try right now to
Open mobile
refuel,
glass.
and it may or may not refuel. And it's going to refuel this time. And the next time I land, it may not. You see what I'm saying? And space combat, this game, we're 8 years in, and they still do not have the flight models fixed. You know what I mean?
They
And
are building something else, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I say, I just don't understand their line of reasoning. Power down.
Powering down.
And I'm hoping sooner or later there's gonna.
Well, SQ42 I think.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see why that would be taking so long. Exit seat.
Affirmative.
Whoops, forgot I was in this ship. Can't get out of the cockpit this way. Well, I can't use that command to get out of the cockpit in this ship. Because I do have a cabin. But that's alright. We can go out the back.
Maybe this is just a small taste of what is to come after SQ42 release.
I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. Like I say, people have paid him who have pledged or pledging for the PU. They're not pledging Squadron 42. So he's got a lot of people pissed off because he's taken all the money that we've put into Star Citizen and he's putting that money into Squadron 42. It's not what everybody signed on for. Does that make sense? So he's got people upset. He's got people, he's hiring people to make a movie, cutscenes and all that shit. He's taking the money that people pledged for the PU, for Star Citizen itself, and he's putting it into Squadron 42. It's the same thing he did with Freelancer. See, this is the same, it's his MO. He's doing what he wants to do and not what people are giving him money to do. And that's why people are not happy with him. You know? And that's it. I could care less about Squadron 42. I have not bought one ship because I want to see Squad. You can't even use those ships in Squadron 42.
Over 300 million now.
Yes. Like I say, they've put in that for over 300 million for Star Citizen. They have not put that money in because of Squadron 42. Most people, the majority of people, big backers, don't care about Squadron 42. They want to see Star Citizen be a success. Chris Roberts, he wants to spend money to make movies instead of finishing this game. So, yeah. So, yeah. And sooner or later, he's going to push people too far and he's going out of business if he doesn't start delivering. Because people now are thinking, yeah, you know what I mean? And he's pushing it as far as he can. I think he's doing it on purpose because he realized, well, if I finish Star Citizen, I'm not going to get no more money. So if I delay it by making Squadron 42, I got them suckers tied over a barrel. They got to keep giving me
300 million is a lot of money, my goodness.
Yes, it is. Yep. All donated for nothing. You know, and he's not even working on what people donated it for, gave it to him for. Like I say, they gave it to him for Star Citizen, not Squadron 42. Like I say, he's a bad project manager. You know? Very bad project manager. Okay, I'm going to get out of here for now. I'm going to probably come back and play something a little different a little later. I don't know what it'll be. Unless somebody contacts me and wants me to play some multiplayer in here. And that does happen. Because let's be realistic. As far as I'm concerned, the most fun is when you're with friends, playing. It really is. When you're
NPC still standing on the seats, haha.
Oh yeah, that's going to be, that's a feature. In fact, I think I would miss it if it disappeared. I'm so used to it, you know what I mean? I don't know what I would do if I came into this game and there weren't people standing up on the seats. You know? I have no idea. Yep, I think I'd miss it when they get that. If they ever get it fixed, I think I'll miss it. At least they're not all standing at attention here in front of the kiosk here. You know, a lot of times they just all stand around in one place and walk the aisle. Well, they're not doing that again. And like today, the game's not running that bad as far as everything. I mean, frame rates seem decent today. I haven't seen 30K, so. But you never know how long that's going to last either. I mean, the game can run.
Chris is a funny dude.
Yes, he is. And like I said, I just think he needs to hire somebody to run the show. And he just needs to quit calling the shots, you know. I think he needs somebody to point him in the direction he needs to go, that he needs to listen to, you know. And I'm not saying the first 2 or 3 guys he hired to do that would be any good. You know, believe it or not, it's hard to find good project managers that can really get things going and working. It's just that Chris Roberts has proven over the decades that he is not a good project manager. You know, this is not his forte.
What do you think he dreams about when sleeping?
People pledging more money. I don't know. Yeah, I make that's a joke. I don't know that, you know. So I really don't know what he thinks. And I'm like you, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think the man has no discipline. You know, he's just proven he doesn't have it. You know, he just doesn't know when to say, I gotta finish this job. I gotta get it done. It's not important to him to get it done. He'll see the next shiny button and he'll push it. Because that becomes his new priority. And like I say, there's not anything wrong with that. He just doesn't have the job to do that. He needs somebody else to go in there and stick a cattle prod in his ass.
Maybe all those employees that he has to pay and all the players that he has to please.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't appear that he cares what anybody else thinks. You know what I mean? People who care, I don't think he cares.
The reasons why the NPC are standing on the seat is because they are scared of cockroaches that are on the floor.
That's true, or mice. You know, yeah, it could be. Now, see, they all got down. See this? They all got down. They're no longer here. The cockroaches probably went away. And I'm sure they'll eventually get that fixed. I mean, sooner or later, we're going to walk into a station. There's going to be nobody standing on the chair. I would think there would be a no stand area in the code that they couldn't do that. But see, I'm not a programmer. I don't know what it would take. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. You know, off limits, don't stand here. I would think that could be in the code. But I don't know what it takes to do that. I haven't a clue. That might be quite involved. Because they do have them sit too, so I can understand. I don't understand. I would think something in the code would say cannot stand here. You can sit here, but you can't stand here. You know, but what do I know? I don't know how. I'm not a programmer, so I don't know what would work. You know, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Will SQ42 release next year?
End of the year, maybe, but I won't guarantee it. See, they won't tell us the truth, so we really don't have any idea how far along it is. I mean, he has told us every year for the last 5 years that it was in polish, it was done, it's going to be released this year. I remember I answered the call back in 2016, you know, remember that? That was because Squadron 42 was ready to be released.
They are scared.
Yeah, and so I don't, you know what, there's no way of knowing how close it really is because they have nothing but lied to us about it. So when he says, oh, we're going to release it this year, like he did at the beginning of this year.
Because fans can be harsh.
Yes, but telling them something that you know is not going to happen is not smart. You see what I'm saying? And there's no way they did not know they didn't have this game finished, or that game finished. You see what I'm saying?
I think it will be released mid-next year.
Mid next year maybe, but see, we don't know what their problem is. It may not even be next year. There's no way of knowing. And you can't believe them because they have lied to us for the last 5 years about when it was going to be released. I mean, Chris Roberts has said many times, the game is finished, we're just polishing it. I can show you quotes off the internet and videos. So he can't deny he says that. You know what I mean? He has several times over the years. Keeps telling everybody it's done. But if it was done, we'd already have it. So, yeah. And so now, I don't believe anything they say. You know what I mean? They've burned me enough times that I no longer believe one word the developers
I remember
say.
the first SQ42 gameplay, it was horrible.
Yes. Well, do you remember the 3.0 flack when 3.0 was supposed to come out? It was a year late, and they claimed they had it done, and then when they
so polished it is a mirror now.
Yes. I could say it's just 3 point. We still don't have the game that Chris Roberts told us that we would have when 3.8 released. We were supposed to have salvage, mining, all those gameplay loops were supposed to be done. They were just polishing it. 3.0. That was what, back in 2017? That was 3 years ago. We still do not have 3.0 that they told us was finished. You see what I'm saying?
So what upsets you most about the game?
That they don't really be making progress. Every time they add something, they add a new planet, they take stuff out of the game. I think the servers, the game server, or the game itself, the game engine is overloaded. It can't handle the information it has. And that's their biggest performance problem. Every time they add new features...
For me, the bugs and lack of content.
I think that the biggest thing is that we make progress and they take progress away. You see what I'm saying? Just like something simple, like we can no longer spawn our ground vehicles at any place but the major ports. We've been able to spawn ground vehicles at the little bases on the moons for for what, 3 years now? And they had to take it out to make room for new Babbage. You see what I'm saying? We can no longer spawn vehicles anywhere. They keep removing stuff to put stuff in the game, and it just gets old after a while. So they make progress, but yet they remove progress. So are they really? They're not making. They're just making sideward steps. They're not advancing. They're walking sideways. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and I just think that's.
So what would you do if you was in charge to make the game better or finished?
If I was in charge, what would I do? I would have them sit down and say, hey, what is our major problem here? Our major problem here is this server or this game engine cannot do this. We either fix it, we quit worrying about everything else, and we either fix it or we find an engine that'll work. You see what I mean? That should be their priority. That should have been their priority for the last 8 years, and it isn't. They just keep making excuses and put patches on stuff. You see what I'm saying? If you do not have a game engine that is capable of doing what you want it to do, why are you trying to force it to do it? You see what I'm saying? And that's their problem. This game engine, it's not their priority. All these developers making this code to put more code into this game, shouldn't they be working on the engine itself? Shouldn't everybody be pitching in and say, hey, let's get this engine working the way we need it to work? You see what I'm saying? And that's not their priority, because that will not sell ships. You see what I'm saying? That will not sell, I don't know. I think they need to get the game engine working. I think that needs to be a priority. I don't think, them artists are wonderful and all that stuff, but you know what? You got to have the people who can actually. This game's never going to be a reality the way this engine is. Never. It cannot handle it. And they got a handful of people claiming.
I guess they are really holding back on something.
Yes, and I don't understand, and that's the problem, and that's what needs to be fixed. That's what needs to be fixed. Because you know what, and then you want to talk about the bugs and stuff. You say the bugs and the frustration from it. Well, you know what, if the game engine actually would do what it needs to do, guess how many less bugs you'd have? It's kind of like it fixed itself.
Do you think this PC specifications are strong enough to run Start Citizens?
Yes, because I ran it on the performance-wise, the game is better than.
They want it to be a wow factor when SQ42 comes out.
Yeah, but see, there's a difference here. It's a single-player game, and you can wow factor a single-player game a whole lot easier than you can an MMO. Does that make sense? I mean, look at this game, okay? Now, look at this, all right? Star Citizen is pretty. Make no mistake about it. But its graphics are not as good as AAA single-player games now. They're not. I don't care what anybody says. They claim, oh, it's high fidelity. You know what? I'm sorry. Look at the detail in Tomb Raider games. Look at Division 2. Tell me these graphics are better. No, they're not. They're just as
Due
good.
to financial troubles, CryEngine can't even pay some of the employees.
No.
I don't see significant core improvements in the future.
Well, yeah, the difference is CryEngine's no longer working on this engine per se. This engine is no longer a CryEngine. I mean, it started out as CryEngine, but basically they have hacked it that it probably won't, you know what, it's not, yeah. I mean, they've hacked it where it's no longer CryEngine. The trouble is they haven't got the people.
They need to dump the engine.
You know what, I don't know. I think they need to hire people that can actually make the engine work, would probably be easier at this stage. Because any game engine, there are better game engines out here.
Lumberyard.
Yeah, well, yeah, Lumberyard, CryEngine, it's all the same. But any game engine out there right now, they'd have to probably do quite a bit of adapting to make work with the code they already have. Does that make sense? The mistake was made. They've been in this engine now too long. Now, 3 years ago, they should have dumped it. And they'd gone down Real Engine or something, they probably have a product. But they didn't. You know, because he got this one for free, and that's what he's all about free. So, but somewhere out there are actually programmers that can actually make this game work. Now, the trouble is that obviously that Chris Roberts, they won't work for Chris Roberts, would be my guess. I mean, they are constantly looking for help. Programmers and people will not go to work for them. So there's a reason for that. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of programmers looking for work and won't go to work for Chris. So whatever that is, I don't know. But that is a fact, that they're not going to work for Star Citizen or CIG. So, yeah. So there's something there that there's a reason all these people out here that are...
What do you like about Star Citizen?
I like the ideal that you can do just so many things, or should be able to. Does that make sense? The difference is it's getting to the point now that Star Citizen is going to be in last place. Dual Universe will never have the graphics this game has, but it already has superior gameplay. Do you see what I'm saying? It already does the things that Star Citizen can't. Now, it's never going to have the fantastic graphics. But do you realize that all the stuff that Chrissy...
The scope is amazing, but it does not exist for now.
Yeah, that's just it. And Dual Universe is going to exist here in beta here in a few months. And do you realize that everything this game does right that they want Star Citizen to do, Dual Universe does? Even in its alpha? I mean, I don't know if you've played Dual Universe, you know, if you're a backer, but believe me, they already have commodity, they have trading, they have mining, they have ship battles. Like I say, it's everything. And then you then take Elite Dangerous. Well, you know what? They were right. 2 years ago, Elite Dangerous was nothing like Star Citizen. All they had was ships. But now, all of a sudden, they've been working ever since. Now they got fleet ships now. All right? You can join a big ship and work as a crew member. You can, here in January, they're going to release ship's legs. You're going to be able to get out of your ship and walk down around the planet, on the planets and stuff. FPS combat just...
Do you think you will live to see started it since finished?
No.
And space legs soon?
Yes. No, I do not think I will see Star Citizen finished. No, I don't. No, I don't. And that's for several reasons. It's not actually because of my age. Well, it is, but ain't. But no, I don't think we'll ever see this game finished. And that's why I no longer will give it financial support, because I don't think it'll ever be done. Not in my lifetime. I mean, 15 years is not a project of this scope. Really, 15 years would not be that out of question. But it is with the amount of people they have working on it. I mean, they have over 500 employees. You see what I'm saying? And it's been over 8 years now, okay? And they're not going to have it done another 5 or 6 years. It's not even going to be close to being done in 5 or 6 years. Now that's 15 years, and they're not going to have a finished project, or they're not even going to have a project in beta. That's too long. Too long. And it's a shame. Now, could they if they wanted to? Oh, I'm sure they could, but they don't want to. They have no desire. They figured they got them a cash cow, and I think they're more interested in squeezing the udders on the cash cow than they are on actually finishing the game. But if they actually made the game that Chris Roberts keeps talking about, it would support itself. You see what I'm saying? But he's incapable of making that game, I think. I think somebody, in fact, I think before it's over with, Chris Roberts will no longer be in the project. Somebody will step in.
How much have you invested in the game, and how long have you been playing the game?
I've been about 4 years now, and I don't have a lot invested in it. Just because I just see no use in it. I am concierge, but just barely. And I have no desire to spend any more because I think it's wasted money. And who knows? Like I say, I could be wrong, but like I say, somebody could step up and actually say, let's get this project actually moving. But it hasn't happened in 8 years. They don't seem to have any desire to actually do it. I mean, I think some of the devs do. Some of the people working there would like to see it finished. Would like, you know what I mean? But I don't think they're allowed to finish it. I don't think Chris is interested in finishing the PU. I don't think so. I think he found a way to get money so he can play with being a director. And that's why everything's going to Squadron 42. You know, nobody paid him that kind of money to make Squadron 42. Nobody. But yet, that's where he's spending all the money. And he can't even complete that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hope it's successful. But I think it will not be successful until somebody else runs the show.
So why do you still play the game, and if you had the chance to leave the game, would you if you could get your money back?
I would probably invest less in it. I probably would have, just because they've disappointed me so many times. It doesn't mean that I would leave the project, if that makes sense. I really do hope it is successful. I really do hope somebody gets in there and can say, hey, let's actually do this. You know what I mean? Let's quit talking about it. Let's quit adding crap to it. Let's just finish what we got. And you know what? And that's what I'm hoping. That somebody sooner or later convinces Chris Roberts to go away, so this can be a finished project. You know? Because the bottom line is that he has already given everything to this game that requires Chris Roberts. Does that make sense? They talk about, oh, his vision, his this. Well, we already have all that. What we don't have is somebody who can run the project. You see what I'm saying? We already have Star Citizen. We already have the lore. He's not creating the lore. Other people are now. What does Chris Roberts himself offer to this game nowadays? Nothing. I don't see where he offers anything. I don't see it. You see what I'm saying? It sure is not his management skills.
We just have to see what will happen after SQ42.
Yes.
What is your favorite ship in the game and your role play?
favorite ship. Boy, you know what? I don't know. I love the little Avenger Titan for a starter ship because it's just so damn versatile. I will always have it. Does that make sense? It's so fun to use. It's great. You know, I think it's fun to dogfight with. It's fun to do delivery missions with. And it's fun just to team up with other people and fuck around with. And I don't know about other ships. Right now, my favorite ship that I have, probably, you know, it's probably the Prospector, but it's probably because it's only a ship I have that has a profession in the game. Does that make sense? It's something I can actually use as what it was meant to be. I have a Corsair exploration ship. It's, of course, not in the game. Probably won't be in the game till I die. I think it's a nifty ship, but trouble is, not even in the game, and even if it was in the game, it has no gameplay options. You know what I mean? It's absolutely useless. I have an Apollo medevac, which once again is a neat looking little ship. It's a medical ship. It makes a Cutlass, well, it makes the Cutlass look like an ambulance chaser. You know what I mean? But once again, it's not in the game. It has no gameplay loops. So whether I'm going to like it when it gets in the game, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I think it's neat looking. You know what I mean? I think it has the potential to have some great gameplay. You know what I mean? But I don't know. You know? So I don't know. That's hard to say. I could say for what it is, probably right now of all the ships I had, probably my little Avenger Renegade is probably my favorite ship right now in the game, because I can actually do everything with it I want to do. I can't make big cargo runs, of course, but you know what? I can dogfight. I can chase bounties. I can do delivery missions. It's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And it's just a little bitty ship, you know, but it's versatile. And I can even do cargo with it if I want to, you know. I just don't bother because I don't need, you know, I got more credits than I need now, so it's just not, you know. But yeah, believe it or not, just the cheapest ship I got is probably my favorite. You know, probably is. I hate to say that. Isn't that strange? Yeah, probably the cheapest ship. That's terrible. Yeah, I never thought about that before, but yeah, probably is. Probably my most favorite ship right now is the cheapest one I got. And don't get me wrong, you know, Caterpillar can be fun to use. But the trouble is, every time you use your Caterpillar, you're afraid of getting burned. You know, you can 30K, every time it seems like you load one of them up, you'll 30K and all the money is lost. And that just kind of pisses you off, so that pretty much ruins your gameplay or your session. You know? So I got it and I don't use it because once in a while I'll risk it, you know what I mean? But as far as going out and doing a bunch of cargo runs, nah, I wouldn't even dream of it because I know I'm going to get burned.
Is it expensive to play a game like this when you get addicted?
Yes and no. I mean, right now it can be if you... I know people who have spent thousands and thousands of dollars in this game. And I play with them. I mean, they have ships, so it can be expensive. But you can also buy all the ships they have if you want to earn those credits. Trouble is, once again, we're back in the game is so unstable that earning those credits is an iffy proposition. You know, you're liable to lose it before you can earn it. But yeah, a lot of people, you know, and I don't know, I'm different in that I don't really like the big ships. I don't like big cruise ships like, you know, like the Carrack. People are really fond of the Carrack, and yeah, I don't want one. I know that to run it properly, once things get farther along, you're going to need 3-4 people with you at all time to run it. And I just really don't believe this hype about you'll be able to hire NPCs and they'll be just as good as human players. I don't believe that for an instant. And I don't want to be forced into a ship that's multi-crew and I have to depend on other people to be online for me to play. So I like smaller ships. Does that make sense? That I like to play with other people, but I don't want my own ships to require me to have other people with me to have a good time. So, and a lot of people, you know, the big ships are pretty. I mean, make no mistake, Carrick's are pretty neat inside. Like, you know, they got all this stuff. But right now, yeah, you can fly one by yourself, but you won't be able to do that a year from now. Like I say, so I have ships that only take two people to run at the most. I haven't, you know what I mean? That's why, just for that reason. So big ships don't even interest me, even though they're neat. Don't get me wrong, they're neat. I just don't, yeah. And of course, it's the big ships that cost all the money. Like I say, I don't have any expensive ships. I mean, I got a few, but they're not high dollar ships. You know, none of them are. So, yeah. But that's just different play styles. But yeah, I look at what am I going to be able to use by myself if I have to. And if I can't use it, I don't want it. You know, there's going to be plenty of people out here that if you want to, you know, that are going to have these big ships, but you don't need to own one. That's the way I see it. I mean, some people it's important that they have to be the captain or whatever, and I guess that's fine. But when I'm in a multiplayer group with somebody, I don't need that. I don't have to be the guy flying the ship. As long as we're doing gameplay that's fun. You know. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I am going to grab a bite to eat and see what we can do here today. Yeah, before the game is over. But it ran pretty good as far as the servers go. Can't complain. Although I didn't log in my Caterpillar like I was supposed to, but yeah. That's just part of Star Citizen, I'm afraid. All right, guys, we'll talk at you later. We're going to go ahead and grab a bite here. 3:30 already. How about